All right, hi guys. This video is the last video for chapter 13. So far for chapter 13, we have identified lines of symmetry, and we have also talked about rotational symmetry. Today we're going to be taking everything we know to actually make symmetric shapes and patterns. So you're going to, for this video, watch how I, if they give me half of a shape, make the other side be symmetric down a specific line of symmetry, and then you can practice drawing this on your own. So again, our objectives today after watching this video are two. You need to be able to draw a shape or pattern when they give you a line of symmetry. We're going to be checking for rotational symmetry. We're also going to be completing a symmetric shape or pattern on paper. I'll show you on paper on here, and then in a packet or in your workbook you can practice on your own. So just really quickly, so this says how to form a symmetric pattern with rotational symmetry. So what happens is, if you can see, this dotted black line is the line of symmetry. So what they want you to do is on the other side over here to draw so that it is symmetrical on the other side of the grid paper, and they also want it to be have rotational symmetry. So what Kelly did in this, I said Kelly created her own symmetric pattern. So what she did is she took, as you can see here, and she colored this side in, if I had an orange, this one in, she colored these two in, and these two in, and then we can see that this now in this shape has symmetry. If I cut it down this line, this side matches this side, and it also has rotational symmetry, because if we turn it 180 degrees, so if I turned it 1/4, then the shape pretend would look like that. That is not the same. If I turned it 180 degrees, it would look like this right here, and you can see the two green dots showing that a 1/4 would have been over here. And it does have rotational symmetry, and it also has that one line of symmetry going down the middle. So our goal today is going to be to try to draw these figures so that they give us 1/2. So we can see that there's a line of symmetry, and they give us the shape. I like to first kind of trace, I'm going to trace the shape right here for you to see it. And what's interesting is a lot of times kids are like, oh, this is so easy. And then what happens is it ends up being significantly more challenging than you think. So you have to make figure A, this side, be symmetrical over here on this side. So what you have to do is kind of, a strategy is, A, some people can just look at it and see that this shape that they would come up here, come down. Oops, I went too far, hang on. And then come in, and some kids can just see that it would be symmetrical, and if I folded it over, it would match up. Some kids have a harder time replicating that, so a strategy I'm going to give you is, I'm going to erase this really quick. A strategy I'm going to give you is to trace, and then I kind of copy on the other side. So say I'm going to start here at this starting point. As I look, and I'm noticing right here is where I want to end my first line. So what I like to do is I like to start here, and I say that I'm going diagonally backwards. So here, back and up. So here I'm going to go diagonally back and up to this one right here. And I check. I see that it's over one block, and this one's over one block. Now I see that I'm going down 1, 2, 3 lines. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 lines. And I trace on one side that's already done, and I try to mimic the same thing I did on the other side. Now this one is going down towards the middle, diagonally 1, 2, down towards the diagonal 1, 2, and then I have that symmetrical shape. Same thing for this one right here. Now the line of symmetry is going horizontally, and I see that I have 2 lines. So I'm going to start right here in the middle, and I see that this green dot, if I start right here, is just one this way. So I could go one this way and put a green dot right there. Let me erase this though, so that way, so I want one here, so I'm going to start one here. And then you can see that if I'm starting here, goes in towards the middle one. So right here, I'm going to go in towards the middle one. Right here, it goes in towards the middle one. So right here, I'm going to go in towards the middle one. And then that is symmetrical. Now I have to do the outside shape. So again, I look for like points that I can use. So I'm noticing that this point is one hop in between this one and this one is 1. So I'm going to put 1 dot here, 1 dot here, and now I can connect the dots. And I'm seeing that from the main dot in the middle, it goes diagonally 1 through 2 squares. So here I'm going to go diagonally 1, 2 squares. Same thing here. This one starts at the top. It goes diagonally down 2. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, diagonally 2. And then I can see that this side of the shape will fold over to this side of the shape. Now the extra question is, decide which of these have rotational symmetry. Now we're adding a whole other layer which can get tricky. So we're looking at these shapes and seeing if I were to rotate it, would it still line up and have symmetry? So I'm going to start with this shape right here, number 1, and I'm going to look and think. If I have this shape and I were, one strategy you can do is you can hold up a paper and trace it and then flip it. If I were to shape this shape 1/4, that would not, because it would kind of look like, okay, now I'm confused. I guess that would go down. It would look like that, which does not have rotational symmetry. And if I flipped it the other way upside down, a 1/2, some people might think that it does have rotational, but if you look, if I were to turn this, what I would have is, do you guys see right here how this is going down? This would be at the bottom, and so that part would be, I'm kind of stuck on how to actually do this. If I were going to turn it, this part would be up, so it'd be facing like that, and it would look like that. This shape does not match this shape because this pointed part is up here pointing up, and this lower part is right here lower down, and they do not match because I can see that this is like a V, and this would be like the top of a triangle or pyramid right here. So that does not have rotational symmetry. Number 2 over here looks like it will, just because I'm noticing that I think if I turn this and I flip it and do a 180 or a half turn, this down here matches and is congruent to this here, so that will have rotational symmetry. Let's try another one. So we have figure C. So what I would do for figure C is, again, I kind of find a place to start. So I'm going to put my dots here and my dots here, and I'm going to trace it. And I'm going to go, this second dot, I'm going to go 1, 2 to there. I'm going to put a dot there, 1, 2 to there. Then same thing here, I'm going to go down 1, 2 to this one. So here I'm going to go down 1, 2 to this one. And look, I can see that these are on the same line and these are on the same line. And then this dot right here is just 1 in. So I'm going to put this dot right here, 1 out. So let me do that. Erase that. And then I have that. And then look, I'm connecting this with this. And I'm connecting this with this. And then I have this shape. This one will have rotational symmetry because, again, if this is the line of symmetry, these two sides are congruent. So when I flip them, they will match up at some point while rotating it. Figure D, the line of symmetry for this one is going horizontally. And then I'm going to start same thing over here. I see this is a starting point, and I see this is the end point. I think down here is easier to start with because this diagonal is a little bit tricky. So I'm seeing that it's going out 1, 2 to there. So I'm going to start here, go out 1, 2 to there. Now I'm looking and I'm noticing that this dot right here is 1 out. So I'm going to put this dot right here 1 out. So let me erase, hang on. So again, 1 out. And then I'm seeing that these two are connected, so I'm going to connect these two. This dot is 1, 2 out. So then I'm going to make the other dot 2 out. 1, 2 out right there. These two are connected, so I can connect those two. And then last but not least, I have to connect the top dot to this one, and then I have this shape. Now, I do not think this one will have rotational symmetry, because if I turn it up once, then this will be up here at the top. That doesn't have rotational symmetry. And if I make it a half turn and do it again, this part will be pointing over here, and that will not match up either. So although it has, although it does have a line of symmetry, this top part doesn't match the bottom part, which is why when I rotate it, it won't look like the original shape. All right, you're also going to see things like this where you get grids, and then you have to shade or color in the other side where the line of symmetry is. So again, here's my line of symmetry. I kind of do the same thing. I'm looking at the top two. I have 2 right there, so I would shade 1, 2, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 right next to this line. So I would do 1, 2, 3, 4. Please shade when you're doing this. You're shading them in pretty nicely. You are not scribbling. They don't have to be completely colored in, but they should look pretty good so you can see the line of symmetry. All right, B. Here is my line of symmetry. So again, I see there's 1 right next to this line, so I'm going to do 1 right next to this line. This one's blank. I'm going to leave that one blank. Then up here, I have 2 green in a row, so I'm going to color both of these green. And then I have 1 green, 1 green. I have my 2 blanks on the outside. I have a green right next to the line, another green, and I'm noticing the rest are all white, okay? Now I have number 7. Here's my line of symmetry. I'm going to start in the middle 3 that are right next to this line of symmetry because I see those and I think those are easiest to color in. And then I'm going to look and I'm going to start up here at my line 1. I see the outermost one is colored in, so then over here I have to color in the outermost one. Blank, blank are these 2. I see that this whole line 2 is colored in. For line 3, I only have this one colored in and the outside ones stay white, so that one stays white. I have both of those are colored in here. And then the last line, I see the outermost one is colored in. My one right next to my line of symmetry is white, so I'm going to color in this one orange, or red, I guess. And then I have that shape. I would definitely suggest taking your time and then at the end looking to really see if it makes sense. If this is my line of symmetry, again, I'm going to start right in the middle where I see one right next to the line of symmetry. So I need the other one to be right there. Because remember, the goal is when I color it, when I flip it or fold it over the line that it will match up. And then I'm seeing right here in this last line, I have a blank at the top, so I'm going to leave blank there. And then I have a purple, purple, purple. So I only have red right now. And this whole bottom line is blank. So then I get that shape. Number 9, again, here's my line of symmetry. This first row is all white and the last row is all white, so I'm going to leave it. For row 2, both of them are colored in, so I'm going to color in both of these. Same thing with row 3. Row 4, the one right next to the line is white, so I'm going to leave those white, and the outside one is going to be colored in, and then I can look and see. Last one is E. I'm going to start at row 1. Both of these are colored in, so I'm going to color in both. Then row 2, the one closest to the line of symmetry is blank, so the other one's blank. Then the outside one and the outside one are going to be colored. Same thing here, blank, blank. Oops, this one's colored. I'm going to color in this one. This one's blank, so I'll leave the one right next to it blank. That one's colored. And then the last row, both are colored in. And then it matches up on my line of symmetry. All right, let me show you. These ones get a little bit trickier. So here's my line of symmetry. So again, I'm going to start with the first row. I have colored, white, and a colorful one. So I'm going to do right here, if I fold it, if this one's colorful, then the opposite side has to be colorful. The middle one is staying white, and the outside one is going to be colorful. And then here, I'm noticing in row 2 that I have a white one, a colorful one, and a white one. So I'm going to do a white one, colorful one, and then a white one. Row 3, everything's colored in. And then row 4, I have a white one, a colorful one, and a white one. So I'm going to do a white one, colorful, and a white one. Now for H, my line of symmetry is horizontal. I'm going to start actually at row 2 because I see it's white, colorful, 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 white. So I'm going to do white, colorful, all 4 of these, so that they line up. And if I were to fold it, the colorful ones would match up with the colorful ones. And then on my 4th line, I see this one's colorful, so this one's colorful. This one's white, so that one's white. That one's colorful. White, white, colorful. And then the last one is staying white. The only other thing is right now, the things you have to actually know and do are you have to be able to shade them, and you also have to be able to draw the lines like this one. This one's trickier. So again, if I were just to review this shape right here, how I would make this symmetrical, you can color these 2 in. So I see these 2 are colored in, but you can see that they have some diagonals here. So I would color in those 2 to match up with those 2. And then look, this one is diagonal. So what I do is I put a dot right here in the middle, and I see that it goes out and down. So I'm going to put a dot here in the middle and go out and down, okay? And then I see it goes back 1, so I'm going to go back 1. And then look, there's that. Then I see it goes straight out 1, so I'm going to go straight out 1. And then it goes diagonal inside, so I'm going to go diagonal inside. And then it goes diagonal outside, so I'm going to go diagonal outside. And it goes straight back in, so I'm going to go straight back in. It goes straight up, so I'm going to go straight up. Diagonal in, diagonal in. And then look, I have this shape. I would go line by line for these, okay? So my strategy for you is to look and see how you would shade these and go line by line rather than looking at the whole shape. This one says, which of these are symmetric? Maybe stop and pause and see if you can identify where the line of symmetry would be in these shapes if they have one. So when I'm looking at shape A, I'm looking and I'm like, well, that doesn't line up because this is colorful and this is not. But remember that your line of symmetry can also go this way. So if I cut it that way, that is a line of symmetry because these two match, and these two match. If I were to go to B, if I cut it here, no, because look at that one doesn't match this one. If I cut it here, no, because this one doesn't match this one. I can also check diagonally. So let's see if I line it up. Oops. No, because look at this one wouldn't line up with this one. I don't think B is symmetrical. Let's try C. Again, if I go down the middle like this, no, because look at those four, they're not over there. So the vertical line is not symmetrical. Let's try this way. Ooh, I think this one is because look, all white. These two line up, these two line up, and those line up. So there is a line of symmetry for this particular shape. All right, let's try. Oops. Right now, if you want to practice these in your workbook, there are pages where you can practice actually drawing and coloring as well. And then if you go to extra practice pages 103, 104, if you haven't done them, they also will help you practice drawing and shading in symmetrical figures. All right, hope this was helpful.